Hey, 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 friends! We are live on this Thursday afternoon, a little bit later than when I usually go live, and most of us do, because we want to make sure that we had Sophie on here with us, and so she's taking her lunch break to go live. So as you hop on, make sure to say hello. Today we are going to talk a little bit about being in a funk. Okay, I think that we have all been there. If you are a woman, at least, I swear, men are just totally different. I rarely see my husband get in a funk. But we were blessed with like the ability to think of multiple things at once and multitask. And even though it looks like we only have two hands, we have actually like hidden abilities in these arms and hands and brain that like we just take on so much. And sometimes it like spirals us into a funk. And so we just wanted to come live and share our hearts with you. This whole thing kind of got started with this morning. My little sister messaged me at 6 o'clock and she was like, "Hey, Tamika, can you come over?" And I was awake because I had beat my mental block or my mental monster in here that was like, just keep sleeping, just keep sleeping. I was like, no, I'm waking up and I'm working out. You can't get me. And so I was awake and she's like, "Can you come over for a minute?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And, she's got a newborn baby and just at her wits end, like just needed a break, just needed some help. And it reminded me of when I had young ones, and the things that come with after having a baby, your hormone fluctuation, postpartum, if you have a colicky baby, lack of sleep, just all of the things that you just kind of put on you, and it makes you feel like you're in a funk. And then here I am 10 years later, my kids are grown and feeling a certain way earlier this week in a funk again. And just realizing that it's part of life, the ups and the downs, the feeling on top of the world, the feeling like the world is crashing on top of you. And so we just wanted to share a little bit. So if you feel like this is going to be a helpful topic for you, drop a 1 in the comments, drop the word funk, and who wants to start us out?
I can. Oh, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
Kayla.
Okay. So I kind of teared up a little bit when you were talking about your sis, just because I totally have been there. I have two kids myself, 7 going on 17 and 12. Um, but that just like it tugged on my heartstrings because I totally get that as a woman. And after having kids and stuff, you just oh man, men don't even know what we go through, like have no clue. And my kids think I have like superpowers because like as you were saying, like I made them believe that moms have superpowers because we do. We just do everything. Um and a little backstory with me, I grew up in like a toxic family situation, family addiction, foster care, stuff like that. So being in a funk for me was like it started really early on, and I would go through these like crazy like just ups and downs. Uh just like in survival mode. That's the word I'll use. I was in survival mode a lot. And as I became an adult, I developed like all these like anxieties and fears and stuff, and that just wasn't good. And I would sleep my days away. I'd get up, drink some soda, maybe pound a bag of chips and go back to sleep. Like it just wasn't healthy at all. I didn't love myself. It was so bad to the point where my partner, like, I wouldn't even let him in the room with me, like, when I changed. Like, that's just how dark it was in my world. Like, if I seen myself this way, I know dang well he's seen me that way too. And it just, so, being in a funk like this, these feelings are real. And I know at the time I didn't know, I thought I was alone. And, you know, going through the motion and getting older, I'm 31 now. I know it doesn't look like it, but I am. No, and I have learned that to pull myself out of like it was me that had to pull myself out of these funks. Like I would just go days and days of sleeping and crying and just hating life, thinking that it would just go away. And I had to learn real quickly. I wish I learned it sooner, but that it was me that had to pull myself out. And when I started working like online from my phone and stuff, and getting around others that were positive and uplifting, and found solutions in things rather than more problems, I'm like, oh, that's like when my light bulb came on. I'm like, oh, like this is what all those positive affirmations mean. Like, so, I started piecing stuff together, and I'm like a pretty spiritual person. So like when I find stuff cute, like this is like a little box I found. And it just has like I am most proud of my, and then you get to write on it. So I find, and I'll share this one with you guys. I haven't done these in a while. So this one says, I am most proud of my strength to keep learning, proud of my relationship with God, proud of my marriage with my husband, proud of my perseverance, proud of my motivation of being a good mom, proud of my body and all it can do, proud of life that God blessed me with. I'm proud of my morals and values. I'm proud of my ability to succeed at anything. And I'm proud of, oh, that was it. I'm proud of my ability to exceed at anything I desire. So, that's like stuff that I have to do to like get me out of my funk. Or sometimes like when it needs to be instant and I feel wild, but I can't be wild, I go buy a box of color hair dye. Okay. And I just, don't come for me, hairstylist. It's just something I have to do to pull myself out of funks. So that's my little story, and how I just over the years have learned to pull myself out of funks, and that you're not alone, and that those feelings are real dark, and but you can overcome it.
I love it. If anyone has some other tips, put them in the comments for us. What are some things that you like to do when you're feeling a certain way that can help pull you out? Megan, I know you wanted to share something next, so you can go ahead.
Kayla, I just thought I wanted to point out something, by you writing those things, like you guys don't realize it really is a perspective shift. Even when you're not feeling like, you can say those positive things about yourself is when you need to, because it's just like working a muscle. The more you write those things down, like, your affirmations and stuff like that, the more it's not that you're never going to think negatively again. It's that you don't stay in those negative spaces. It's your way, like you said, it's your way of working your way out. It's an exercise to get out. We can call it a funk, but I like to call them valleys. I mean, valleys aren't, those are where things grow, but the whole point of it is to, work our way up to that mountaintop, get out of the valley so you're not stuck. Do you want me just to share? I'll just share as long as I'm rambling on. I feel like we could all talk about a million funks that we've been in, one of the biggest things was losing my father. I didn't realize I actually could get, it was like seriously the hardest thing I've ever been through, still to this day. And I didn't realize because one, the day I lost my dad, the next day I found out I was pregnant, surprise. And so it was really like I was kind of numb through those emotions. So I never really felt. And so a year or two later, all of a sudden I realized I'm like, I was actually in a depression. I didn't know it. That was my third child. So, your kids are what keep you going. And you just realize you're like, I can't be this way forever, because they do keep me going, but they're watching me. Like you said, we're supposed to have these superpowers. So I'm like, I need to live a better life, and that kind of then spurred a whole like health journey as well. But one thing, things that really helped me out of my funk was my dad was very adamant about his faith. And so he instilled that in us. I wasn't as active in it then. And so I kind of got on that journey of just growing, educating myself, growing closer to my faith. But also then I started, my health and wellness business, and we do a lot of personal development, a lot of mindset work, because you learn these tools. Like this week, I also have a condition with my eyes that create severe anxiety in myself. And I don't know when it's coming on most days. Like I woke up yesterday and I was just like, it was like almost debilitating anxiety. And I knew, thankfully, I've done things that now I can do. I show up still. Like I got up, I got dressed, I got the kids to school. And you guys, I was literally like, here was my head the clouds were here. They were like surrounding my head. I just couldn't barely get out of it. But I drove myself to the gym, and I literally sat there. I'm like, I thought of every excuse in the book to not go in there. Like, I can take one day off. It's fine. It's fine. But I didn't. I walked in, and honestly, I had a decent workout. And that's my whole thing. If you've ever heard me talk about my exercise, it is not to be skinny. It is to be healthy. And that for me is why I show up there. So that is a tool I use to help get me out of a funk. It's finding the right people that are going to lift you up and let you talk, but also encourage you and call you higher to not stay there. I went walking with a friend last night, a couple friends, and one thing she told me, she's like, and I've been contemplating this, not contemplating, I've been thinking, so what's my next level is meditation. I've never done that. I think it's something that's a super important tool that I could be using to help work my mind. I woke up today and I feel like a totally different person, but because I do those things, I was feeding my mind. When I was working out, I had something between my ears. Like I kind of know, like when I'm struggling with something, I go to listen to something that's going to help like fuel that, like help get me out of that. And that doesn't mean, a lot of times it can last days. It's not like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm better. But those days do get shorter. And like I said, you're always going to get these things that come at you in life. That's just life. But if we don't have certain things to help us like crawl out of these funks, then we just stay in them. And that's how we live our life. And I stayed in a valley for way too long. And I just know I don't want to stay in those anymore. They're going to come. But those are the kind of things that I do every single day. I show up, I make a healthy meal. I mean, simple things, because it's like health just isn't about, like I said, being skinny. It's so much more than that.
Right. And when you're feeling down, you have to, even though you don't feel like it, and it's easier to be lazy or eat crappy, you have to make yourself make the decision that is right, even when you don't feel like it, because it will make those days shorter rather than make them longer, just like you said. Sophie, anything you want to share?
I guess it's my turn. Yes. So, I can relate to Kayla in some instances. My life wasn't like hers, but when you just, all you want to do is sleep. You just want to sleep. Have gotten to that point in my life sometimes where I don't want to be bothered with anybody. And about 2 months ago, it was really, really bad, really bad. I didn't get to the point where I wanted to like hurt myself, but I didn't want to be around anyone. I didn't want my phone to ring. I didn't want to hear any notifications or anything. And it was horrible. I've never felt like that before, And what I did, I was like, I talked to myself, because I do that a lot. Get it from my mother. And I was telling myself, you can't do this. You cannot do this. And like Kayla said, my children are my life. And I think about, if anything happens, they're going to have to bury me, or cremate me, or whatever they choose to. And I don't want them to go through that. Not at this stage in their lives, because they're still young. They're at the point where, they're looking for mates to get married and all. One is married, but the other two, they're still looking for mates. And I want to see them get married. I want to have grandchildren, and because I love children. So all of those things kept going in my mind. And I'm like, call your doctor. Well, no, first I reached out to my really good friend she's blunt, very blunt. And I told her what was happening. And she said, girl, if you don't call your doctor. And so I called my doctor, let her know what's going on. And she helped me. My doctor helped me. She got me a therapist. And it was such a great thing. It was awesome. And it made me feel renewed. It made me feel like myself again, because I'm generally a happy person. If I walk past you on the street 10 times, I'm going to speak to you all 10 times. And so, and I love to make people happy. I'd rather them happy before myself, which is not a really good thing at all the time. But like Megan said, joining this online business, I learned about personal development, journaling. I didn't know about those things before. It's sad that, I'm 50 and like Kayla, I don't look it. But well, actually I'm 51. But anyway, I I never knew about those things. And to be able to listen to a personal development and actually understand and look at yourself and like, this is you. You can do this. It was awesome. And please don't forget prayer. Prayer and Bible reading works. And that really worked for me.
I love it. And I'll share kind of my experience. And I love that we all come from different backgrounds, different experiences, but like really good tips, here as far as what we've talked about. And I feel like I've been through so many ups and downs. Like Megan said, like sometimes you don't even realize that you were in a funk until after, but you just know that like you just don't feel good, or you just don't feel right, or like you're just dragging your feet, or you're not really motivated to do the things that normally you would do. And as women, we can easily have hormone imbalances, chemical imbalances in our brain. And so like getting help that you need, making sure that you have somebody that you trust to talk to is really, really important. And then just recognizing, like I said, you're not alone. Okay. Other people feel this way. I know, like after having Paisley, I didn't love her for a really long time. Like I couldn't even look at her and tell her I loved her. I couldn't even kiss her. And I was like, this can't be normal. But you didn't hear anybody else ever talking about not loving their own child, for a while. And so you just have to know that like, that it's not you, that it could be something that's unbalanced within you. So getting that help is really important, recognizing that it's not normal, and then having tools and having things that can help you. And I know earlier this week, I was just feeling like super stressed out and overwhelmed. I feel like it's my job, duty, obligation to like fix everything and make things easier for everybody else. And so, I'm trying to do all of this stuff in my community. I'm trying to do stuff in our education system. I'm trying to do stuff at home. I'm trying to do stuff in my business. And I just was feeling like really beat down, and didn't want to work out in the morning. Didn't want to I wasn't hitting, like I wasn't where I wanted to be with my weight. Wasn't where I wanted to be with my business. Wasn't where I wanted to be with our soccer program. Definitely not where we want to be in the education system right now. Okay. So like all of these things, I'm just like, oh, and I'm so frustrated and I'm so angry. And I'm like, all the things. And then me and Kayla and Sophie were on a power hour. We were listening to Craig Rochelle, and I can't remember exactly what he said, Kayla. I just remember what you had told me. And it was just like, you are making a difference now, and it will change in the future. You can't expect everything to be better right now. And that was almost like what I needed in the moment, was to just relax and know that I am making progress. I am making progress in all of the things that I want to do at the pace that it needs to happen. You never hear of an overnight success ever. You look at successful people, you're like, oh my gosh, that happened so fast for them. But you didn't see the ups and the downs that they had to go through to get to where they are. And the truth of the matter is I've fallen and been through so many funks and so many valleys in my life that I've learned a tool is that I just keep doing the things I know I need to do, even when I don't feel like doing them. I keep working out. I keep eating healthy. I keep showing up. I keep going through, sometimes it's just the motions, because when I come out of it, whenever that happens to be, I want to be better off than, worse off because I slept all day and ate potato chips, or because, I got myself out of the habit of waking up early and exercising, or waking up early and doing my journaling and reading and doing those things. And one thing that has really helped me this week is when I find myself waking up, I naturally wake up usually between like 5 and 6 a.m. without an alarm. When I like have that recognition that like, okay, I'm awake, before I even open my eyes, I put my hands like this in bed. So I'm just laying down with my hands like this. And I just literally tick down my fingers of 10 things that I'm grateful for before I even open my eyes. And I sit there and I think about it as long as I need to think about it. I say, I'm so grateful for my husband. He's so helpful. He works so hard for our family. I love the way he looks. I love all these things about him. I won't get into that. But, I spend whatever time I need to on, how I'm grateful for my husband, how I'm grateful for my kids, how I'm grateful for where I live, our cars, the food that I ate yesterday, what I'm looking forward to today, just anything that I can possibly think of. And I don't open my eyes. I don't move my body until I get through my 10. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I fall back asleep. I'm like, oh yeah, what number was I on? I got to start over. Right. But you know what I mean? And that is one tool that anybody can use that I really feel like helps me put things into true perspective about life. So, does anybody have anything else they want to share or touch on based on what other people have shared?
Yeah, I do really quick. All these tips are amazing. So I hope somebody got a nugget, at least one nugget, because these are very helpful. Also, I wanted to say, so how you were just like, everybody's like, I show up to work out because it's just what I need to do for me. I eat healthy. So if you're somebody like me, I'm not all the way disciplined to show up. Even though I know it makes me feel better, I'm still not like I need to go because it's just what's gonna make me feel better. I just don't. Um, even the eating healthy, but I do what keeps me motivated. So like today, I came home, dropped my kids off, and I felt tired. I like started overwhelming myself with all the things, and I'm like, oh, I kind of don't feel good, which I didn't, but I didn't feel bad enough that I really needed a nap. I allowed myself to lay down, and I said, okay, I'll get up at 11. So if you're at that place and you're just like, I just need to take a nap, just take a nap. I got up at 11. I almost laid back down because that's just what my brain wanted to tell me. And then I got like this really bad itch on my foot, and I was just like, okay, I'm up. You're right. Like, I'm getting up. So I get up. I took a shower. It's like 1:30, and I'm just barely like starting my day, but I did it. I still did it no matter what time of the day it was. I could have just said, oh, the hell with the day. I already, wasted half of it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just start where you start and just like pick up where you left off and just keep going. So I don't know if that makes
that muscle stronger that Megan was talking about.
Right.
That's how you grow that muscle. Exactly like what you just said.
It's not beating yourself up over things you didn't do. It's putting more energy onto the things that you did do. Like, yeah, you took a nap. Okay, well, you know what? You're no good if you have zero energy when the kids come home. So, and like I always call myself a recovering couch potato. Like, legitimately, that is like my thing at the end of the night. Get all my stuff done, make sure the kids are settled, whatever. And we sit down, me and my husband, and watch a TV show before we go to bed. So that's still like my I do everything so I can get to the couch, but in those habits of going to the gym and doing those things, that took years of, okay, I'm going to go one day. And I did one day for the longest time. And then I did 2 days, so it's like, it's these little things of whether it's, you're just going to start today with writing down affirmations because you're like, wow, I really talked to myself poorly. Add that to your daily routine for a couple weeks and see where you look back and see how far you've come. And don't worry about adding all the tips that we're teaching you. Take something. If there's something that resonated with you, drop it in the comments. If there's something that we didn't touch on that you could help somebody else, drop that in the comments. Like, that's why we come on here. I know like social media can be a highlight reel, but at the end of the day, we're sharing our experiences. Like, yes, you see the before and after pictures, or we talk about how positive things. It's like, we do that because we're trying to give you guys the things that we've learned along the way through our own journeys and struggles. It's to turn around and lend a hand to everyone else. So I could talk about that all day.
I know. We'll save it for the next one.
And I wanted to also bring out, we live in a society where people, if you talk about mental health, it's no, you can't talk about that. You shouldn't be like that. But mental health is real. It is real. And if you have to talk to somebody, or if you have to take medication to feel better, don't be afraid to do that. If you need to talk to a professional, I'm sorry, a professional, in order to just release yourself. If you don't have someone to talk to, release yourself, because it works wonders.
Right. I love it. All right, you guys, this was awesome. I'm so glad that those who could hop on live, those that catch the recording, I can't wait for us to do it again. So thanks for joining me this afternoon. And if you guys have any questions or need any support, or like Megan said, have any extra tips, be sure that you drop them, because that's what this is about. Like, just helping people live better, happier, healthier lives. And so thanks, you guys. We'll see you later.